Hey, David here with Guide Recommended. Gonna tie the bucktail streamer. Mickey fins. Wonderful story about the Mickey fin. It's the first fly that I tied and then went out and caught some fish. Actually caught some little brook trout with the Mickey fin. This is an effective fly. The bucktail streamer can be just changed up so many different ways with colors. You know, the Clouser minnow is basically a variant of the Mickey fin and these bucktail streamers. So you learn the skills with this and you're going to be able to go on and catch a lot of fish and tie a lot of flies.
So I'm going to break in just for a second and talk about the link down below. Takes you to a page, how to tie flies. It's a step-by-step instruction. So I've organized each of my videos into 5 different tutorial lessons, like this one, types of flies and fly tying hooks. You got the tools, you got the knots, you've got the materials, you've got the techniques, and then each one of these lessons has a link to a page that has an article about the materials, a video, and then more instruction and description of what is in each one of those lessons. Let's go back real quick. As you continue down on the page, it gets into tying those fundamental flies to learn the skills. So here's the San Juan worm, bucktail streamer, old brassy, elk hair, caddis, and then the ultimate dry fly, the Atom. So these will teach you the fundamentals, and then you'll be able to go into all of the links where I talk about different flies and how to fish with them. Leeches, best flies for spotted sea trout. It goes on and on, these different flies and how to fish with them.
So you can see the little Mickey fin that I tied up before. A nice little streamer, kind of a definition streamer. Bucktails were very, very popular in the past. So let's put our size 6 streamer hook in. These are a little bit longer. They're a 3X streamer. I'm going to tie this up with black. Start back a little bit more. I'm going to almost be 2 eyes back. Let's start this guy. Let me tighten my vise up a little bit more here. The floss coming up is going to put a nice little, have like a smoothing effect on this fly. It smooths everything down for our tinsel. Alright, so I'm going to stop at about our point. And at this point, I'm going to put in tinsel. Got a little piece cut already. So this is a 2-sided tinsel, gold on one side, silver on the other. I want my silver to come through, so I'm going to tie it with the silver down. That way it will flip up and be my primary color. Next up is some floss. I like to pull off about 8-10 inches of the floss. All 4 strands of this. So get that in there and I'll tie it down and we'll wrap forward. So I'm going to stop at about that 2 eyes, right? Grab my floss, get it unwound here. This is where it kind of smooths out all those wraps that I put in there. If you can see, we just had a little bit of undone. The floss will a lot of times separate out. That's okay. It's okay. You just want to end up with a nice smooth base going forward. If you want that to get closer together, put a twist in it, pinch it together, twist, pinch it together. But just from experience, I know it's not that big of a deal. Just try to do an overlapping wrap all the way into our tie-in point. Right? Wrap it in, tie it down, snip it off. Make sure that's tight and good. Let's wrap our tinsel. Watch your hook point. It's easy to break this tinsel on the hook point. So the idea is to have a ribbing effect with our tinsel. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't know where I'm at. I'm probably 6 or 8 wraps there. Again, you'll notice I'm not crowding that eye area. The bucktail is going to add some bulk up there. So I've got some yellow already. We get to use our hair stacker. All right, you want to use just a fine little bit of bucktail. All right, so I've got almost, I'm going to say just slightly more than a toothpick thickness. It's going to end up at about a toothpick when I'm done. I let go of the little end there. I pull out the fine stuff. It doesn't stack well with all that fine, right? And then I will tuck it in to my hair stacker. I'm not going to get them all in easily, right? So I got them in. All right, so we're going to tap these on the table, right? All right, our tips are all aligned. We want this to be a little bit longer than our shank, maybe a hook bend longer than our shank, so about there, right? Make sure we got all of our loose stuff out. You can see I'm at about that toothpick thickness at this point, right? So I'm holding it, I transfer from my measuring point, wrap it in 3 wraps, pull this up, snip it at an angle. Don't put a whole lot of wraps in at this point. All right, next is I'm going to go with some brown like what comes in the kit. I'm going to steal a section out of this. This is way too much material. Pulling out that fuzz, almost a little bit bigger than a toothpick. I was just dumping stuff into the trash over there. So there's my pinch. Get my hair stacker, right? Put it in. Tips are aligned. Again, I know I got too much there. I want to go for that toothpick. You don't want too much on a, line them up about the length of the yellow bucktail. 1, 2, 3, cinch it down. Again, snip at an angle. Now we're just going to add a little bit of the yellow. Got a big old mess I'm going to be cleaning up later. This, I actually want it to be a little bit less than a toothpick. Again, little technique there, just kind of spin it in. Some of them might not drop in. Don't fight it. Just let them drop and clean it up later. All right, a little bit less than a toothpick, again, on top. All right, so this last cut on the bucktail, this forward section, is a lot of what's going to form your tapered head. So cut that off on a nice taper. Slowly wrap and grab down those hairs, down to the eye, back up again, forming the head. If If you take your time, it'll build up and get you that nice head that is so characteristic of this. Quick little half hitch, hold that in place, get my whip finish out. I like to use Sally Hansen's nail polish. Nice little gloss on that fly. If you can, please subscribe.